Now it's time for Dawnbreaker in DC Metal. This is the crazy event that is going on, DC Metal. I'm going to link the playlist down below so you can catch entirely up if you don't know what this is. But this one is going to be about Dawnbreaker. What if Batman became the Green Lantern and became evil? And don't forget, we still have our Comicstorian metal t-shirt to help you celebrate the metal event here at Comicstorian and the DC Metal event. Be the cool guy that has a unique shirt that blends into the event. Should be on the screen right now, but let's go ahead and get to that Dawnbreaker video, because this may be one of my favorites. I need to see them all, but this might be my favorite. These are the stories from the dark multiverse that should never be. Witness the rise of the Dark Knights. How do I feel? In that moment when my whole world changed? We go back to the moment when Bruce Wayne was a child, standing over the bodies of his parents. The moment that defined him, that turned him into the Batman. The moment where the gunman stood there and realized his mistake. When I stood there, helpless as my mom and dad's blood was running into the gutter, I felt nothing. This is the moment that changed Bruce in this universe. But what if instead of being terrified, what if instead of letting this moment define him in his goal to stop crime, it defined him in a different way? And he chased that man. He showed no fear. Something behind him sensed that, and it ran after him. Bruce Wayne, you have the ability to overcome great fear. Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps. I remember I didn't overcome fear. It was obliterated from me. And I didn't give any thought to the word core, or even what the hell was talking to me. All I cared about was him. Bruce floated on top of him. You bastard! And he pointed the ring at the man, prepared to do the one thing that the ring would not allow. Bruce wanted to kill that man. Instead of killing him, though, it charged up and it told him, error, first law of the Green Lantern Corps, lethal force not permitted. And Bruce wasn't stopped, and he shouted, kill him! And again it told him, no. He looked at the ring. I don't care, do as I say! And it began to read willpower at 100%, willpower at 117%. Bruce remembers that day. He didn't feel fear or doubt. He just felt the void inside of him, and he shouted that he deserved to die! Bizarre and strange constructs came out of the ring, and it began to read, error, willpower exceeds, and then the messages got garbled, and it announced, lethal force enabled, as it tore the flesh and bone away from the man that killed his parents. He remembers his thoughts. I had the most powerful weapon in the universe on my finger. And he went back to the bodies. Ring? Bring back my mom and dad. The ring had tapped into something unholy, and it began to raise the dead. And Bruce remembered that he would have given up the ring to have his real parents back, not these zombie versions as they stood up. As he launched into the sky, leaving them there, he was alone. At first, they called him a hero, and due to that, Jim Gordon called him to the rooftop of the GCPD to question him about a few missing persons. Bruce advised him to remain polite, as the last cop who threatened him regretted it. The issue is that Bruce is killing without remorse or boundaries. Why did these villains deserve to live when his parents didn't? Why? Jim continues to ask about the people who are missing, asking the Lantern what he did to these crooks, to the Scarecrow, the Penguin, Two-Face. We see that he flew through the building, pointing his ring at them, and then he initiated something that we had never seen before, and he told the ring to initiate blackout. All around, the void exited Bruce, as it was inside of him all along, and everything went into the darkness, except his eyes and the ring. The villains did nothing but scream in terror, and as Bruce said, in the darkness, he wasn't alone anymore. As for the Penguin, he took him into space, and he left him there to be tore apart by comets. And then he looked at Jim. Just look up. You see that? It's his spleen and his brains. Jim stops. Lantern, this has to stop. This isn't justice. I don't care what you do to me. Someone has to stand up for what's right. What you did to Detective Bullock, God help him. I know you're hurting, but Bruce summons a giant Green Lantern as he tells Jim, you don't know me. I'm not an idiot. A couple of years ago, 3 dead in Crime Alley. Aren't you tired of feelings like this? Bruce, shut up. You have a daughter, right? Sad she'll have to grow up without a dad. And Bruce turns around, blasting Jim Gordon with the ring, killing him. At that moment, he gets a warning. The entire Green Lantern Corps is coming to town, and he sees them, and he realizes that there are a lot of Green Lanterns out there. And he turns to his ring, and he simply says, ring, It responds by initializing blackout, and all around the Lantern Core, creatures of darkness and terror appear. They envelop and surround the core, and he tells them, I have friends too. I made them in the dark. The core is decimated instantly, with most of them being killed. But one Guardian survived, and he pulled himself towards Bruce, telling him, stop. The darkness, it destroys everything. And in response, Bruce tore his head off his body, and then he remembered how he felt. Vulnerable, helpless, alone. He missed them and he couldn't take it anymore. He didn't want to be Bruce Wayne. He didn't want to be the Green Lantern. He wanted to be something more. Something of the darkness. The Dawnbreaker. With the darkness black, I choke the light. No brightest day escapes my sight. I turn the dawn into midnight. Beware my power, Dawnbreaker's might. At that moment, he accepted who he was. He realized his world was crumbling away. He knew what was swallowing it. It was the void that was inside of him, and it consumed all the light. And as he floated throughout the void, it spoke to him. Nice Earth you've got there. How's it working out for you? Call me the man who laughs, and I'm recruiting. This is Red Death, and that is Murder Machine, and you'll be fast friends, I'm sure. You have so many things in common. Revenge, justice, first names. There's a world bathed in light. The people there are fools. They deserve to be dragged into the dark. Their world will crumble like yours. Lord Barbados demands it. You're a warrior of the darkness and you can extinguish the light. Barbados can spare you from this darkness and bring you to which you most desire. Your parents. All my lord demands is your obedience. Will you kneel or will you die? Well, over at Earth Zero, we see what the Dawnbreaker decided as he soars over Coast City and is in awe at the light and the people living in it. He simply thinks of them as idiots and he decides that it's time for their world to change forever. He hovers over them calling out, Ring, initiate blackout. But Hal Jordan appears telling him, stop where you are. He turns around and right away Hal recognizes the face. Bruce, is that you? Dawnbreaker turns to him, I have to warn you. I've killed Green Lanterns before and I'll do it again. The creatures in the darkness of Bruce's ring begin to pour out and bite and snap at Hal Jordan's feet. He calls out to his ring to stop it, but the ring is confused and has no idea what this even is. With that, it swallows up Hal Jordan into the darkness, and without the light, there is no Green Lantern's might. Until a symbol appears in the darkness, one of fate, and he draws Hal Jordan out of the fight. Leaving Dawnbreaker alone in Coast City as the blackout protocol hits the whole thing. The world of light, a city of hope. Disgusting. Let them feel helpless. Let them feel the void. Let them feel like me. And there you have it, Dawnbreaker. Now let me know in the comments down below, out of the 3 that we've covered so far, Murder Machine, Red Death, and Dawnbreaker, which is your favorite? Because we have more to cover. Don't forget, next Wednesday will be another DC Metal video, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to know more about DC Metal. We're trying to bring a video to you about DC Metal every Wednesday. Hopefully there's no gaps with the release schedule, but we will try our best to bring you one every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian, where I bring you single tweet reviews, just my opinions on the comics as I read them. And you can follow us on Instagram, where we post some of the better panels from the comic books because they're cool and you can keep up to date on that. Both of those are Comicstorian. Thank you guys for making this channel what it is today, and I'll see you next time right here.